Welcome back to Jersey Matters. A federal judge denied the request for a stay of Governor Murphy's mask mandates for school children. But the fight continues and may end up in the United States Supreme Court. I spoke with the constitutional attorney who is leading the charge, Bruce Afran. Sir, thanks for joining us. I'm going to read to you a headline that you are fully aware of, and I want you to react to it. A federal judge, U.S. District Judge Kevin McNally, has ruled that requiring children to wear masks in school does not violate the First Amendment, nor is it discriminatory. So I'm sure you reacted to that after the hearing or after he issued the ruling. Let's hear your reaction now.
Sure, Larry. It's not exactly what he said. He was making a preliminary ruling saying that at this stage, he can't issue an injunction before a trial because he thinks that based on the evidence he has right now, the governor didn't go further than is necessary to protect health. But what Judge McNulty did say is very significant. He said there are First Amendment implications caused by this order as to children and teachers. And he refused to accept the state's argument that the First Amendment rights of children are not violated. What he said was that despite that, the order might not go too far beyond minimally what the governor has to do. And that's where we disagree with the judge. We think clearly there have been no alternatives explored. The governor is simply burdening children for months on end, 2 years actually, whereas no one else in the state is subject to any of these rules. 100 young people can gather in a bar, college-age kids, not vaccinated, sitting on top of each other for hours on end, and that's fine. But 20 kids in a classroom all day long have to be masked months on end. And this is where we think Judge McNulty is incorrect.
Well, this was a public radio news item. I'm shocked that media story I found on the internet was not correct. But he did not make a ruling, is what you're saying. He did not make a ruling that it didn't violate the First Amendment.
That's correct. In fact, he said it does violate First Amendment rights, but the governor's order at this stage can't be said to have gone too far in terms of protecting health. He's balancing, but it's a preliminary ruling. There's still going to be a trial. And we've now taken an appeal to the U.S. Court of Appeals, which will start the case all over again. They will hear the thing from the beginning. And we think we can get a ruling probably in about 30 days.
Okay, it was a little confusing what you said right there. You said there's still going to be a hearing, that this was preliminary, but I'm going to appeal it.
Yes, you can appeal it. I'm sorry, Larry, yes. In federal court, you can have a trial, but you can also appeal the denial of an injunction. Okay. So we're going to do that now. We're going to ask the Third Circuit Court of Appeals to give us a ruling. Probably that will bring the matter to an end one way or the other, unless the Supreme Court gets involved.
I thought from the beginning, and we talked before about this, and I thought from the beginning that you had an interesting argument. I hadn't heard that legal argument yet, that it was a constitutional violation of the First Amendment. It seemed to me at the time, and it still seems to me, that you are looking for this to go to the Supreme Court. Is that right?
Well, we'd like to end this as to children. If we get the added benefit of getting the U.S. Supreme Court to make a ruling that such orders are illegal, that would be even better. So we'd love to win and have the governor go away. But if the governor insists on fighting this, we do hope the Supreme Court will step in eventually.
The people that you have involved with you, the Free New Jersey Kids, they're all parents, are they?
They are all parents, with the exception of some teachers who have joined as well. And we have at least one teacher who is a plaintiff, and teachers' rights are violated as well for many reasons. They're forced to become police officers in the school, constantly disciplining kids about their masks. This isn't what they signed up for. Their intervention with children is ruined. They're now police, not mentors, not teachers, not friends. And this bothers teachers also. And Larry, it's interesting what you say, you hadn't heard about the First Amendment connection before. That's the innovation of this case. And Judge McNulty recognized this issue, that this masking does violate those rights of speech and association of children and teachers.
I'm reluctant to go to these articles I have now, since the headline was wrong on the first one, but it also says that he he pushed back on the argument that it violates the 14th Amendment as well. Is that right?
Yeah, there's an issue we raised that, well, we're only doing this to kids in school and teachers. How about all those other millions of people mixing in bars and restaurants and sports venues and concert halls who are unmasked, probably unvaccinated? How come the governor doesn't put them under orders? Why just children in school? And we say this violates equal protection. I don't agree with the judge there. He said it doesn't violate equal protection because it treats everyone in the school equally. Well, that's not the point. The point is it's treating children and teachers one way and everyone else completely differently. And that's where we think the constitutional violation lies. There's no reason that children and teachers need special protection and nobody else in the state. We think the governor really did this for political reasons, to buy off heat from the teachers union. Look, my dad's been a teacher his whole life. He's gone now, but he was a teacher for 40 years. I respect the union, but the union can't interfere with the rights of children. And we think the governor did this for those reasons. And frankly, he's now dug a rabbit hole for himself that he can't get out of.
No, it's a fascinating case. And I'm wondering if you've heard from attorneys in other states.
We have heard from some attorneys, not as many as you think, because frankly, most states are not doing this. It's really a few eastern states and California that are pushing these onerous rules. Courts, by the way, Larry, in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Tennessee, and US courts of appeal have rejected all of these emergency health powers, either by governors or by presidential officials. There has been uniform rejection of these powers. We have a case pending in the appellate division in New Jersey challenging the governor's legal right to issue these orders. That was not an issue in the federal case, and that brief is probably going in today.
But you're not challenging that here, right? You're not challenging the governor's right to do this. You're saying that the orders are unconstitutional.
Right. In the federal case, we're not doing that because there's a strange doctrine in federal court. You can't drag a state in directly under its own constitution. So we're bringing those arguments in the state appeals court. So you're right. There's a division in the cases.
Are you concerned at all? I mean, you sought an injunction just, I would imagine, to speed things up a little bit. Are you concerned at all that this problem is going to solve itself? It's going to take so long that the mask mandate may go away on its own?
I'll be honest, Larry, I think we've accomplished a lot of good right now. We've made it clear that the governor is probably exceeding his powers. And I think that creates a lot of concern in the legislature about other orders. And I think we've done good already in mitigating against even worse orders coming down. It is possible events may get beyond us, but that's life in the law. There's not much I can do about that.
But you are looking forward to making this argument in Washington, are you not?
If I could, yes, without question. It's a historic case. And if it should get to the Supreme Court, we'd be honored to make the argument there.
Because it would have ramifications for the future as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these broad powers, really, this is a pandemic of the executive order. We've seen a total erosion of any basic lawmaking process with these gubernatorial orders, thousands of them around the country, all dealing with COVID. And the federal courts and the state courts are now kicking back. They're pushing back. So we'd love to get this in the Supreme Court to have a definitive ruling on these broad, unlimited powers governors have assumed.
Well, we'll keep following it. It's a fascinating case. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Larry.
Constitutional attorney Bruce Afran, next on Jersey Matters.
Hate it or love it, the Garden State Parkway is unavoidable when driving in New Jersey, and now we've been informed of a new public safety risk. Find out what that is coming up next on Jersey Matters.